We got 6 people in the room. How you doing, 6 people? Make sure you type some sort of message so I know who I'm talking to. 7 people in the room. Well, we had a coronavirus scare in my town today. They shut down the local hospital saying that they thought it was coronavirus, and then later opened it up to saying they think it was just a regular flu. I tell you what, this crap has got me on edge, though. This is like one of the only public scares I've actually been worried about. How you doing, Justin? Baby Yoda, what's up, man? I'm getting my gear ready right now. Trust me, the stream is accurately named. I had this stone that I started working on that had great color on top when I started working on it, but one of the colors was bright orange with a bronze layer on top of it, and I wanted to get to that fantastic green that you see right there. And so you know what? I'll just talk more about it when I actually start turning the stone over, because I'll end up talking about it twice. We got Justin Talbot here. Justin says they had their first case in Everett, which I believe that's Everett, Washington. Could be Everett anywhere else. Yeah, that stuff's definitely got me on edge. I had my whole family order some of these P100 masks, because I guarantee you, walking around in public with one of these things on, it'd have to get in your eye for you to end up getting any of it. And I would put the camera on my face, yet it'd just be a whole bouncy, wobbly mess of me getting it reset up. So it's just going to stay over the top of the workstation. And set my mask down before I put it on. I can put my mic down real quick. I will show you guys this fire agate I've been working on that I thought was going to be a rather simple job. And then, like a lot of good things, it ended up turning out not so damn simple. Oh, I need to wipe off that screen. Where'd I put that paper towel? There it is. My backdrop has got some dust on it from me working earlier today, and I can't see the screen barely through it. So this stone right here is the one that's in the screenshot. Oops, there we go. And it started off with this bronze orange on top, and it had a little nub that was right there. And I just kept working and working, trying to get to this green section, and it had constant color everywhere the whole time I was working. And then just before I stopped working because I was so frustrated with the time I put in. I thought it was going to be a rather easy stone. And it has just started having pits of no color in it. And I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to get to that really bright green, or if that really bright green is going to have a thick enough layer. Now, what you're seeing is orange right here. That's actually a really nice red to my eyes, just like the other stone I told you guys about that recently that's up in the store for sale right now. You'll see the pictures there. It's definitely a red, not so much an orange. But this thing, because of the areas that it's like losing color and having like little dark spots or spots of bronze, it's been driving me absolutely batshit crazy, I tell you what. Should probably limit the cussing. Every time I do a live stream, they demonetize the damn thing for like 3 days. Although maybe they partially demonetize it because every time somebody says something that might be a little bit shady according to the YouTube algorithm, I authorize it anyways. But the camera's having problems focusing with me moving all around. So I thought I would have this thing done hours ago, and I keep wanting it to just be an amazing stone, because I mean, I did have it a really good looking stone. I had it as a really good looking orange stone with some yellow and the green on the sides, and that wasn't good enough for me because that green is so spectacular. I really wanted that green everywhere. It's just, going for the gold, so to say. And it hasn't given it to me yet, but these dark spots that are in it, except for that dark spot, that used to be a nub of color that was right there. And I kept working around it. And now it's like sort of a dark spot with some color in the center. And then you can see this other spot. It's like losing the color there. Right there. And I think there's more color underneath of it. There's this nice red that you guys see as orange because that's just the way the color from this camera goes. I worked that spot first, and then I thought that I was going to be able to work the rest of it and have it all be that red, and then I started losing color in these other spots. It's just been a frustrating one for me, so I'm just going to work it the best I can and try and bring the most color I can out of it. And there's still the possibility of bringing this green out, yet it seems to me like this was just a part of the top layers and that it's not a layer down lower. I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows? It's still a pretty stone, but it's just not what I want it to be yet. I wanted it to be all one color. I really like those stones that are all one color. And if I just would have been happy with yellow and orange and green on one stone, this would have been a fantastic ring stone already finished, but it's not quite done yet. So I'm going to work on that, and I have some other stones to work on too. Let me change out this burr I have on here. I have a burr on here from working something differently. Nuclear threats in here. Margaret's here. Yeah, I agree, Margaret. That green is definitely my favorite color. Well, it's not my favorite color. Purple on these stones is my favorite color, like most people. But purple is like the super rarest color, too. Ruby Dimples Machada thinks it looks like a bear's face. 15 people in the room. How you doing, 15 people? I think I'm probably going to need to back this up just a hair. Let's see. Start my drip, and then I'm going to put my mask on. Always got to be working with a mask. I spray so much stuff around my face that I can't believe all the times I worked without a mask. Get my drip in the proper spot for this camera. Maybe I'll just move the camera over a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Move it just a hair forward. That's pretty good. So having dead spots in it really upsets me. Even just this little nub right here that has color in the center of it, but a dark spot around it, almost like a wart or something. It's really upsetting to me. This stone started out super amazing. Like, it didn't start out as good as this stone did. As you can tell, it's got purple and fuchsia and greens all in it. Now, it did not start out as good as this stone, but it started out pretty freaking amazing. And if I just would have been happy with the super bright colors I had earlier, I wouldn't be looking at any dead spots in it. All right, muffled sounding talk. Now I'm putting on my mask. Now, if you're going to be doing any of your shopping at like Walmarts and places like that, I would suggest here you go and get yourself one of these masks as soon as possible, because I really think that this coronavirus crap is going to get worse before it gets better. It seems to be a very movie-esque scenario that we're in, much more than any of these other years where there's been something similar to this going on. And that's my deadest spot, right next to a really good color of orange. I'm I'm really going to hope to save this stone and have it come out to be a much better stone than it is right now, because the top of it really, really has my feelings hurt. There we go. Had to move my microphone a little bit out of the way. Now, I think in that, what looks like a dead zone right there, I think I got green poking out from right there. I believe that's the color it's going to end up being under the bronze and under the layers. I mean, right now to me, it almost just looks damn black. I would hate to work on a stone for pretty much hours and then feel like I just have to toss it out. I mean, I could just cut it up for smaller stones on the side or something, but... Hey, Ryan, how you doing, buddy? Rogers Gems, Julio, how you doing, my man? I figured I was going to work, and for me, while I'm working, I need something sort of going on at the same time while I'm doing this stuff, and usually it's listening to a talk show like Joe Rogan or the news or something like that. I figured it was that or put you guys on while I go ahead and do this, so I figured I'd just have you guys on. Although I'm not sure how good that's going to last. It sounds like my second cousin's here to work on his race car, so it might get loud while he's working on his race car downstairs. That area is just sort of getting flat. This stone is going to teach me about going for the gold. Sometimes when going for the gold, you end up with a frickin' bronze. Because that's what the main color in that top is. To me, it's bronze. Yeah, I can't wait to be out digging it again too, Rogers Gems. We're definitely going to do another dig at Topaz Mountain. Those are friends of mine. I feel like I'm always welcome out there. Although most of the gemstone mines I've gone to, that's exactly how it is. I'm pretty much welcome there at all times. I tell you what, is that showing up red? I hope that's showing up red. I can totally handle it going from a black spot to a red spot, as long as the red shows up as good as these oranges. They look orange to you, but they're actually red. Yeah, Topaz Mountain's a lot of fun, especially on that claim. Because of the way they blast, man, I have specimens that nobody else can even touch. I mean, it'll never really be good jewelry grade stuff, but that's just because it can't handle sunlight. One of those minerals that loses its color in the sunlight. Totally just working a flat spot right here now. Something's poking out. I can see like a bunch of bronze layers. Looks like I went through a whole bunch of bronze layers right there. Yeah, Rogers Gems. I have totally been in that same scenario. As soon as I had left, is that blue? Oh God, don't tease me. I think I see blue and purple down there. I do believe all the way at the bottom I see a blue and a purple right there. This stone is playing with my emotions. That's why I said these things will make you crazy. This one's absolutely making me fucking insane. And then as soon as I say that, I start in my head, I start going through oh gosh, what's the name of the song? Insane in the Brain by God damn, they're like the original pot smoking rap group, Cypress Hill. Hey Oliver, how you doing? Hey Margaret, since I apparently missed that, Steve Senders here, Gems by MBK. Rogers Gem says, that's what love does. Love makes you crazy. Yeah. I'm definitely not going to argue with that one too much. That's for sure. And I hate to do it, but I'm not cutting through that green right there. I just refuse. And I don't like having little dead spots like I have in this orange, but it's better than like this spot over here I have. Once I started getting these dark spots with no color, I start panicking and getting all upset. And I'd rather have a stone with the colors I didn't like than spots pretty much with no color. And I have absolutely convinced myself that, oh, strong way, there we go. But that's blue or purple right there. What do you guys think? What is that little hint of color poking through right there? What color is that? Let me get a vote in the room with 21 people in here. And 4 thumbs up. Everybody hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Gems. I'm actually complaining about this stone and how crazy it's driving me. But I appreciate that you like the way it looks. It still has some great colors in it, that's for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to switch back to a point. going on to this one right here. Hi, D. Yeah, I agree that something started to poke through right there. Yet I have seen this happen to me previously and then have it show up red and then try and carve the whole face of it red and then I start losing color everywhere. What's up, Jam? I tell you what, carving in a concave like this in something so small, even with a point like this, is damn difficult. Especially since I'm not trying to touch the color that's down at the center. I'm more trying to work the sides to where the hole goes down to that color. And this stone has driven me insane. I'm losing my mind. But I'm really convinced that is a blue in there. Focus, camera. Whatever it is, it's not very bright in the hole. I don't want to cut through the color. I don't really want to make it too wide either. Yeah, that's definitely a blue or a purple right there, though. That's no question to me now. I can absolutely see a blue or a purple right there. Huh. Now the question is, do I just go ahead and go for that? And hope it flows around the whole part of the stone? This point I have on here, it's only a 600 grit. Yeah, Landon, have you ever had a never-ending gobstopper? Basically a jawbreaker? That's how the color forms in these. It's like it's dripped over the top, and sometimes the color's not as thick in some areas as it is in others. And the colors definitely change. Damn it, I see a blue purple right there. I really do. All right. this stone is done officially made me crazy. I'm going to put on a 300 grit, and I'm going to blow through a couple of layers of this area right through here. Right where I have the orange, which to you it's orange, but to me that's red right there. I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and try and get an amazing color on top right there. Because a stone with all color on top is 1,000 times better than a stone with a big hole in it. So this is a 325 to 400 grit I'm putting on here. It's a much more aggressive than a 600 grit, yet it still should keep me from blowing through the color bars. You can see from the brown getting on the burr how much quicker it works this stuff than a 600 does. The 600 to 800 doesn't work it near as fast. There's all that black I was going through before that purple started to poke out right there. And my head just started singing, I believe I can fly. You know, that's like a song when you really want to grab the good stuff. If I can pull this face out to have a big purple splotch in the middle of it, it will absolutely raise the value of this stone enough to totally make it worth all of the time I spent going crazy over it. And I can already see a little color poking through right there now. I got a spot right here, I got a spot right here poking through and a spot right there poking through. Yep, little spots right there. Time to change burrs again. Yes, Calvin Splain, absolutely scary. That's why I said this stuff will make you crazy. Here's another stone that makes me a bit crazy. Focus, there we go. This stone makes me a bit crazy too. You guys aren't seeing all the colors that are in it, unfortunately. Let me switch the direction of this light, it might help. Yep, this stone's gonna make me nuts too. That stone I carved last time, or I finished the ring stone out of, I just finally got it up for sale in my store. So if you're interested in that stone, I put it up for $140 for sale. It's a great looking stone. It's reds and yellows and greens. Yes, there is, but the problem with the blues and purples in that other one is that there is no real thickness to them. I was just barely cutting on the top of one of them, and I already saw that there was like a little hole in the purple color on the bubble of the top of it. There's no real thickness to the color bar. When you get the reflection just right, the play of color is definitely there. But the thickness of the color bar is not there at all. I was almost thinking about just polishing it up the way it was to where the purple and greens show through, and then just selling it as a specimen instead of as a gemstone. I was thinking about doing that. I tell you what, I can see it just barely, but it's not really bright yet. Boy, I sure do hope this stone comes through for me right here. See, I can see more coming through it than you guys can on the screen. I can see little dots in the hole of black right there. I absolutely see flashes of blue and purple right there. I'm going to keep digging on this line with this burr. And then after I get some of this color out right here, I'm going to take a 600 and hope that this thing comes out good for me. Oh, I forgot to put my towel down in front of me. Yes, D, this rock is from California. Well, I think I should pull out a 600 and clean that up a little bit. You should, D. I sent you real good boxes. I knew I was sending you real good boxes. I can always tell I'm sending real good boxes when I'm not sure if I actually want to send them or not. Go with this tiny little inverted cone. Damn it, the stone is telling me that if I really want it to look good, I'm gonna have to cut the rest of the top off of this thing. And God, I don't want to do that. Been through so much of that. But I already wiped through the purple on one section and there's red right below it. With red right below purple, I should really just go ahead and bite the bullet and start going through some of this other stuff. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Damn this stone! Stone drive me crazy! What was that question? I saw a question there. Let me see. Now this dot right here, this is a raised section that used to have a big orange spot over it, and I thought it would just stay colored that way, and I went over it like broad strokes, and then it made it towards like a dimple with color in the center. So now I'm trying to not touch that color in the center and grind away the stuff on the other sides of it so I can get to that purple and red that I think is below. Which, I mean, I can totally see the red right there. The red is below the purple. I think I can still save this stone. Yep, fire agate is totally a gambler's stone. Cutting fire agate, you're gonna have to take risks, trust your gut, hope it's there. Yeah, there should be a fire agate asylum, right? I think what happens is after a while you get really good at carving them and you don't have any problems, or you just end up making decisions based off of what you can get at easily. Because I could have had this stone finished 4 hours, less time into it at least. I have 4 hours more time into it than I absolutely had to have. I think there's a dark blue line there that I went right through. Might have been what happened, but now it has sort of a swirly pattern that you guys aren't seeing as good as I am. As long as I can get this face to show most of that red and most of that purple and have no dark spots in the top of it, I'll be extremely happy. You guys are still mainly seeing dark spots, but you can still see that red and a little bit of purple poking through. So if you're not ready to question everything you're possibly doing and how it's going to turn out in the end, the whole time you're working on something, don't get into carving fire agate. My problem is I don't ever want to, just do stuff mediocrely either. I always want it to be of top flight quality. So I end up redoing stuff a lot and putting a lot more time into it than I initially planned, and underestimating the amount of time something will take me and all of that stuff. I tell you what, though, tomorrow when I start working on this stuff, anything that looks like it's going to start turning into one of these, I'm just going to set it on the side and save it for later. I wanted to have 5 stones cut today, and I picked out a bunch I thought would be easy, and then I started with this monster. So now, like most days, I have a handful of half-finished stones. I really don't want to lose those greens on the side. I love those greens. I'd rather bring out these purples and reds and keep the greens on the side. I need to grab a towel real quick. I think I need to be careful on this edge right here. I'm starting to think that there's not going to be any purple and red on this edge right here, and I'm going to lose its shape and lose all of its color, and that'll upset me too. So I think I'm going to lay off on this edge right here for a minute. That's still the bad part, the hard part. The part's causing me pain, mental pain and anguish. Oh my goodness. I'm going to put on this arrowhead and I'm going to draw around that nub some more, get it exposed a little bit more. Now I think I'm going to take a 600 and hope that I can expose this properly. It's definitely got a swirly definition that, once again, you guys are not seeing as good as I am. It just looks like dark shadows on the screen, whereas I see like a little bubble of red, a little bubble of purple, and then some swirls, almost like a face. It almost makes like a smiley face of color in the center there, but it's not super bright. All right, I'm going to move to a 600 and see if I can get this whole thing to stand out. Since it's been such a pain and it has little bubbles here and there, I'm going to try and avoid the bubbles I see already showing color. I'm going to try and work the dark spots. You guys are not seeing that as good as I am, I promise you. This screen setup right here lets me see what you guys are seeing, and it doesn't have too much splatter on it right now. What I'm seeing is really dark red and a light purple poking through. It looks like sort of swirls because of the way it was cut. Which, as far as fire agate carving goes, this piece has turned into a little bit of a shit show. One of those, oh yeah, you thought it was going to be easy. The way they're almost teardrops swirling in the center there has me just confused on what to do next. Dry it off real quick. Well, yeah, Margaret, it's way better with these LED clip lights, huh? Yeah, they work really good. Thank you, Arnold. I appreciate that. Well, I do believe I have more color poking through. Once again, you guys are not seeing it very good, though. Still, looks like a black mass of crap. That's probably because this green and the yellow and orange is so damn bright compared to this red and purple it's showing. Hello, Sunny Jim. Who is that? Christine. I like to polish with DeShine. Hopefully we'll get to that in this video instead of me just begging for the great color to come out of the top of this thing. And so right now, that's all I've been doing. I've been pretty much begging. Please, baby, please treat me right. Oh, God. Don't leave me like this. I put so much time and effort into you. I will give it this, though. That agate right there is some black agate, man. It has got some dark-ass agate in the center of it. Oh, my God. You guys can see the red right there. There, you can see the red that I see. A little bit of it. Dang it, now I'm getting down into that green I don't want to lose. But I got that big copper bar right here along that green. Got to go through that copper bar and then the black to get to the purple and the red. Now the purple line seems really thin. I'm hoping the red line is a little bit thicker because the purple line seems extremely thin. Seems like in most of those areas I blew right through it with a burr that shouldn't blow through it very easily. Gonna call this stone the Insanity Stone once it's done. If it gets done. I'm still not convinced I didn't end up spending a whole day on something that I'm just gonna end up being a waste of time. The more I chase to fix it, the more I fuck it up sort of mentality. Yeah, like I've told some of my friends, man, you just have to be willing to fuck some stones up in order to carve fire agate good. You're just gonna have to take the risk. Got a little peak of showing through right there. Got a little something starting to show in that divot. Now here's a lesson for you guys. Never carve the middle of the stone. Always work from the outside in. Mark Reich says, put the damn stone away. Work on something else. Yeah, it sort of got me fucked up mentally, Mark. That's for sure, buddy. It really does. This one's really got me mentally screwed up at the moment. I do have other stones I could be working. That's an absolute fact. And I'm with you, Rome was not built in a day. I do have some stones that I could go carving a little bit easier than this. Yet I'm not very good at just quitting things. Not saying you were suggesting quit. I know you were suggesting just stopping for a little bit and coming back to it another time. Sunny Jam, nope, anti-Facebook. Yeah, my video proves that one, doesn't it? Landon, that's good. It is too. It's Caleko Elmer Fudd hunting rabbit agate. Well, I got another layer of green poking through right there real bright. The reds and stuff below it are starting to show a little bit more. I'm just going for that bronze and the blacks. Trying to get them out of there. If I get any more frustrated than I already am, then I will just go ahead and put this stone down and grab another one. This video is going to go till probably around 11 p.m. my time. At that point, I got to shut it down and go and get ready for bed. Otherwise, I won't get out of bed until way too late. And tomorrow I have work with somebody. I wasn't able to work with him on Monday because my back was... I wasn't able to work with him on Monday because my back was so messed up from earlier. Gosh, how black that agate is in between the colors. Like, even to my eyes, it's straight black. Like, it's not bronze or brown. Like, in between these layers right here, that agate is pitch black. You guys can see those reds showing up, though. They're like black red on the screen. We had an inversion table at the last house I was living at, and that didn't help my back near as much as what you'd think. My back got injured because I was sleeping on a surface that was way too soft, and I didn't recognize that that was my problem until it had been going on for like 2 weeks. I kept thinking that it was from the leg stretches I was doing, because I was holding my leg above my body while laying on my back and then taking them to my left and my left and outside right. And I really believed that that was what originally strained my back. But then after a little bit of time of it not getting better, even though I stopped those stretches, I realized that it wasn't the stretches, it had to be the surface I was sleeping on. And the day I switched the surface completely, I got rid of all the mattresses and decided to start sleeping on the floor like one of my viewers had said previously. That same day, I went to work and I was throwing doors that we took off of this horrible apartment, and I was throwing them into the dumpster at the dump, and I turned once and I felt something in my back go either. Sunny Jim, so I can hopefully see my videos monetized without having to put in a request. Do me a favor, remove the word shit, even though I cuss every now and then in them. But I think it's the typing that has had my videos demonetized, tell you the truth, because every video I end up authorizing like a bunch of statements that YouTube thinks is wrong, although YouTube's algorithm is messed up, because there's all kinds of statements that are completely fine that they black flag. Well, I wish that red was as bright to you guys as it is to me. But even that green section right there is not as bright to you guys as it is to me. Does black count as a fire agate color? It's amazing to me how little that camera can see this red in here. It's like it hates red because the bright reds I have that I've carved on live stream, the camera has shown them really orange. Like if you go to my store and you check out that cut stone I put in there recently, yeah, I need to stop the F-bombs. The whether that stone I put in my store that I carved on live stream just the other day, the ring stone, the reds in there on the live stream show up very orange. Yet if you go and look at the pictures I have of the stone, they're red. There's some orange in the stone, but the stone has more red than it does orange. That's what I wanted to see. It totally looks to me like the red and the green is much deeper than the black, and the black's sitting on top. I think I'm going to switch to a broader head. And see if I can remove some of that black and get it a nice shape without the lines. Definitely went through little patches of the red, I think. Typically carving a fire agate, I'm worried about flat spots and keeping my motions nice and smooth. This one, I'm just like, fucking save the stone! Save the stone! There is less black missing now. There is less black in it now with this method. I think I could possibly lose some of the color. Yet, with what I was just working with, I barely even care. There's definitely more dots of color shown in the middle now. I have this little bit of bronze on the lip of that green. I keep hoping I'll get a smooth transition, but I know I'm not going to. I'm going to end up having like a little line, like a cup almost going there. No matter what, I'm pretty sure. So the green on the sides is really great. It's like a consolation prize. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's almost like a brain. You guys are not seeing it near as good as me. I keep saying that, but that's just the way it is. Like, you guys aren't seeing inside the divot the way I am. Like, to the naked eye, the divot's not looking bad now. It's like a divot with some blue and red and green poking out, and little spheres poking out of pitch black. I like it better than I like the way the dead spots looked a minute ago when I started this piece like this. If I can get this piece to decent, I'm polishing it. Yeah, I always have an extra pillow for my knees. That's something I've done for a long, long time. Tell you what, the night I spent in jail, that was the biggest problem for me. Not having something between my knees when I went to bed. I mean, besides the fact I was like, fuck, I'm in jail. I need to quit using F-bombs, remember? I tell you guys not to type, and then I sit there and cuss a bunch. But I'm absolutely convinced it's the typing that automatically gets it flagged, the YouTube algorithm. Just because I'm convinced doesn't mean it's true, though. It's looking better. Oops. Yeah, it's looking better to you guys, too. I'm not going to lie, though, when Mark was like, put it down, walk away, I did turn my frustration meter down right then. I was like, yeah, I need to quit acting so frustrated and quit being so stressed on it, or else I am just going to make it worse. And right now, it doesn't look as good to you guys, but it looks way better to me than it did when you guys first turned it on, when it had a dead spot here and a couple dead spots there, because now it looks like there's a method to the madness with the dead spots that are in there. Like, it looks like some really cool colors poking out of black agate. That looks better than just, you know, generalized dead spots. Sonny Jim, some half-blind old lady will buy it. Well, it's still a gemstone. It's still better than a lot of fire agate you end up seeing and I end up seeing for sale. The reason I say that is because all the other colors are on all the time. Like, it's not a partially colored thing. It's always on. And this is way brighter to my eyes than it is to you guys. There's no question about it. I've got red and green and blue playing back at me in this. There's still some black in there. I've got a little layer, a little line of bronze transferring between the green and orange and yellow on the sides, which I'm working on that now. And this is what it looks like dry. Well, partially dry. The lines aren't that bad. They won't look that bad once I polish it up either. Half-blind old lady, that's awesome. I mean, if I don't like it enough, then I won't put it up for sale in my store. Yet even this one now, the way it looks, I don't have near the problem with it. Although my phone camera takes way better pictures of the agates than this does in live stream. You guys are seeing down in there now. There you guys got an idea of what I'm seeing. It's totally like a little brain in there. But I mean, when I started this video was absolutely about how frustrating carving this stuff can be. Because I knew what I was in for, because I'd already gone through, the easy part. I dusted the easy part of a beautiful stone, hoping to get something absolutely amazing. And then when I was turning you guys on, I was on the, oh, this might totally be a bust. Because, most learning channels are all like, look how amazing I am. It's really easy to do this. You know what I mean? It's like only the good stuff. And then you have some channels, it's like a 10-minute video saying, this is really difficult and it's tended to suck and I would never do it like this again. But here with me, you guys are going through this straight emotional turmoil moment by moment. I'm tempted to grab out my little pointy one and work some of this stuff a little bit more. That makes total lines in it. I gotta quit holding it so tight in my fingers, man. I'm stressing out my fingers. Sonny Jim. Oh, I don't sell my stuff right now to get the highest dollar for it. Like, I sell for a price I think is fair. I try to get at least the amount of work I put into it out of it. And I want to get really good at carving fire agate. I really do love this stuff. Like, it's like the guy who told me about this stuff the first time. He's like, if you like opal, you're gonna love fire agate. He was dead right. Like, he was absolutely correct. I mean, it's one of the reasons I can only be, you know, a little bit perturbed with the people at the Royal Peacock. Because if it wouldn't have been for them giving me the opportunity at the Royal Peacock and then me going back there the second time, I would have never even found out about fire agate until much later. And if things wouldn't have happened in the circumstances that they did, I'm convinced I never would have owned the fire agate mine and then ended up getting a permanent stake in it, even though I don't own it anymore. I don't own it anymore, but I have lifetime rights to dig at that place, and I have plans for that place. I have plans for helping Chris Rose out and help myself out and stuff like that. I think it's time to move on from this broad piece and move back to the pointer. I think the pointer can help me out more here. But I mean, it's looking sort of cool now. I'm definitely not near as frustrated now as I was, that's for sure. Mark's Rome statement helped. It's a multicolored gem, that's for sure. If this tip is too broad, I'm scared I'm going to lose the good colors I have in the middle. And checking it dry in between is a really good way to find out, you know, what areas of light might be missing or what might be there, what areas that aren't the way you want them to be, stuff and such like that. Oh, didn't want to go that direction. Hopefully I can get rid of most of this black and have that black turning red like it is in that corner right there. That's definitely more of a red than a black. To you guys, it just looks black, but it's giving it a brain bloody look. At center, I've got blue and red and green and a little bit of black. And this is the whole reason you need a foot pedal, because with the foot pedal, you're not going one constant speed and you can pump it. And the slower you go with the speed of the burr, the more precise you can be with where you're moving it. When the burr's just going full out, like it's very hard to control exactly where it's going to go. I'm focused on getting this center shaped the way I want it to and getting rid of the bronze lipping. I want to get rid of as much of that bronze lip as possible and just have it go from the color to the black line to the color on the inside. Couple little streaks of that black agate. Do not want to get off of this big green section. This little triangle of green right here. I'm almost scared I'm going to mess up the green just trying to get this other section of agate off of it. Got like an L shape in it. You guys can barely see it. Yeah, and now I just went through that green a little bit. Not happy about that. Just gonna have to take some of the imperfections. The whole thing's imperfect, so it's not like it's a big deal. Stretch my hand out. One thing I learned from all that time I spent in the desert and using hand tools until my hands didn't work anymore is when you start feeling like the cramping in your muscles and your tendons and stuff, man, stretch that stuff out at least a little bit. Like you ignore it and then you end up with trigger finger in both hands like I did, and that's just not worth it. It took me 2 years to get over the majority of that. That's why I wasn't carving much fire agate until recently. That's part of the reason. Was because when I'd try and carve for any period of time after I got back, man, my hands were so messed up I could barely do anything with them. There's a nice red transfer over to that green. Not going to mess with that red transfer too much. I've got some pretty good blues on the back end back here. Wish I had that running the whole stone. But the lesson here, kids, is never work from the center of the stone out. Always work from the outside over the stone. I mean, it's starting to work out for me. I have a true brain looking thing in here that has color poking out at all sections now. You guys can lightly see it. It's not showing up as good as it should to you. Little box inside of the stone, but I tell you what, it's way better looking than what I started with. I'm way happier with this than what I was with that. Fine tune it and maybe I'll get a good polish on it and maybe you guys will be able to see it. Sort of poetic that I name this live stream "Some Stones Will Make You Crazy," and then it sort of looks like a cracked open brain. That's sort of funny, I think. And it's looking pretty good to me now. Even the bronze little areas that are right on the lips of this green aren't really bothering me that much. Let's see what it looks like. You can definitely see that I drew lines in the top of this thing. There's no question about that. This thing has ended up being a lifesaver. I thought it was overpriced for the amount of sintered burr you got compared to the other sintered burrs I bought, but now I'm just happy to have purchased it. I purchased it because the one I wanted wasn't in stock, and I like this one way better. I'm going to end up buying more of them, that's for sure. Getting rid of the black. Black is going away. It's funny, the red does not show up good on this camera at all. What type of Ethiopian is it? Did you say it was a chocolate opal? Sunny Gem, did you say it was a chocolate Ethiopian opal? Yeah, if you're going to cut that one, I would cut it using wood and oil. I would not cut it using water. More than likely, if you cut that opal using water, you're going to come out with a ton of broken pieces, regardless of what shape it's in right now. All of the research I've done on those chocolate opals is that the reason that their value is so tiny, even though their color can be so dramatic, is because the chances of them actually cutting a gemstone is really, really not good. I've never cut one, and that's just, everything that I've read or found videos of, which has been a fair amount. That time I went to Tucson, I did a lot of research on opals, and I was planning on buying Ethiopian opals. And I did buy some Ethiopian opals. I bought some really spectacular ones. And so far in all this time, I've only had one of them craze on me. And it didn't craze the whole thing, it just crazed in spots. Of course, I didn't buy any of the chocolate opals because of everything that I'd heard about. They were the ones that really don't do very well. But the thing about cutting your opals with wood and oil, well, the oil would count as treatment, but the thing about cutting them with that is that, from what I understand, the wood does not heat up near as much. There's even an opal type of cabbing machine that's made out of wood, like slapped together at different angles. This one, I'm starting to get down to it. I'm starting to get to the spot where I might be happy enough with it. So I've been on allergy medication ever since I had that breakout, because even after I went to a doctor and got on steroids and they went away, I had another breakout all over my body again. And so I went back on the allergy medication and started taking a bunch of stuff out of my life and doing a bunch of stuff differently in this house to hope that that breakout went away. And it did start to go away. Yet the other day I woke up and I had an absolute crazy bad headache and my eyes hurt really bad. And I thought it was from these new glasses. And it took me a day and a half to find out that your eyes can get so dry that it gives you gigantic headaches and it makes your eyes hurt like they're strained, and that antihistamines can end up giving you clinical dry eye, is what it's called. It's basically dry eyes. And that's what they did to me. And only after about 16 hours of using the eye drops I got at Walgreens for 20 bucks, all that pain and stuff went away. So if you're having eye pain and you think it's eye strain, it might not be eye strain. It just might be that your tear ducts are not creating enough moisture while you sleep or during the day. That's what was happening to me. Just in case anybody else has that issue at all, you can remember this statement and it might help you. Yeah, that center still doesn't look near as good to you guys as it does to me. It's starting to look pretty good to me. Still have a couple of little black agate lines that I really want to get rid of. I really want them to sort of disappear. I mean, it's giving some cool shaping to the color in the center, but it's just obvious to me that it's like not supposed to be there. That brain is starting to poke out to where you guys can see it pretty good. I can still see it better because this camera hates red. Maybe it has something to do with red eye or something. I don't know. It's a video camera. It's not a camcorder. I should check my phone and see what time it is. (10:24). I got like 30 minutes left. At maximum. I should really tighten this up as much as possible and then put a polish on it so you guys can see what it looks like after I polish it. And I can move the camera out of where it is and you guys can get a better look at it without looking through a piece of plastic that's sort of shaded. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to rub my mask on the microphone. Imagine that might not have sounded good to you guys. That sounded bad. But it's definitely looking like a real stone now, man. Like the light is playing off of one green and rolling across, and then you got the red and the blue and the other green, and I mean, it looks like a frickin' brain to me. It really does. It doesn't look horrible to me anymore. It doesn't look like the most amazing carve, but it definitely looks pretty cool. I'm really happy compared to how petrified I was earlier. If you can't tell. That dark section you guys aren't seeing very well right there. That's red. It's like a raspberry red. It almost looks like the green is trying to poke through, and maybe I should just go ahead and turn it green, though. Yet I think that bit of red right there is that color because I went through the green. But I don't remember going through the green over here at all. But it is red. Like, to the naked eye, that's definitely a red. I definitely like this stone way more now than I did when I started. Very true, Margaret. You have to go with what the stone wants you to do. Couple little white sections on the green agate on the bottom I'm not happy with, but oh, not on camera shot. Turn that a little bit out of the way, that'll help. Those little lines right there, I really don't like those. But it's right at the edge of the green, and when I go ahead and take this stone down, I'm going to lose most of this weight right there. Now, there's a little bit of the bluish purple on this back end. It's showing up green to you guys, but really it's a bluish purple. And it was a really, really light layer. I mean, there was a lot of layers of color on this stone that had really thin layers, to where like going through them was way too easy while trying to get the rest of the stone to be that same color. That's what got me into this whole mess to begin with. I was trying to make a stone all one color. If I just would have been happy with a really bright orange that was on the top and the green around the sides and a little bit of yellow on it, I would have been done with this a ton of hours ago, and I would have got a lot more work done. That is for sure. But I'm not upset now. I think I should take it to a polish just so you guys can see the way it is. I can always fix it up if I want to later. That red is definitely below that purple and green right there. I think this red is on top of the green. Yep, I'm still going, Ryan, but I'm way happier now than I was before. I'm thinking about taking it to a polish any second. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the brain look I have right now. Too worried I'm going to screw it up again. From whining to shining. That's a really good name for this video. Let me turn that off. There we go. Well, I say I'm going to hit it with some Diashine and see what I can turn it into real quick. That should only take me a few minutes. It definitely didn't have dead spots like it did when I first started, that's for sure. And if you want to know what I'm doing here and what you should buy from Diashine, although you might want to wait because I'm contacting my buddy Roland, and I'm trying to see if I can get you guys a coupon code. I'm going to be making a video on this stuff relatively soon.
But I suggest after 600 going from medium soft to fine to super fine soft. I think those are the three to get. Cost you about $170 for those three, but it lasts a long time. It's way quicker than oh wow, it's so dry it's just flaking off. Get a little bit wet. It's a lot quicker than the Nova Points. And it gets into crevices way better than Nova Points and doesn't destroy just because of the Nova Points. If you have edges, then the Nova Points just get eaten up, I've found over and over again. All those little lines I have down there, they wouldn't get hit good by Nova Points. They'll get hit good by this. I think I need a little bit more dye shine on there. That's not working. Need to drip it. Just one little drop on there. Focus camera. There we go. I'm just going to not get it all over it. They're not too thick, just a little bit. My dye shine's really old, so it's a little bit harder than when you first get it. It's dried out way more. It's about a year past its expiration date, which I thought it was funny. It has an expiration date. Well, the problem with this on opals, though, is that it gets really hot. Like, even with the brush, it gets really hot. So if you're going to use these with opal, you have to be a bit more careful, Ryan. Or you might want to use this with, like, some balsa wood or something like that. Because I'm telling you, man, like, this stuff, I've run this with a brush like this, and I've gotten the fire agate so hot that the fire agate pops off the dop. The dop wax unconnects, basically. And I'm telling you, with a polish, that doesn't look red, it looks brown. That doesn't make me happy. That makes me think I need to keep carving to that green I'm sure is underneath of it. And that blue that was flashing all nice, that barely shows up. Yep, I think I'm going to have to carve this one a little bit more and go to the green layer that's down below. I think to have it an okay gemstone, that's going to be my only choice. Because that red does not look red now. It looks brown. And I know that green is underneath that red. I can see it poking through in certain areas, like that right there, right by my fingernail. I can see that green is poking through what I thought was red with the water shining through it, but now with this green dye shine on it, it's brown. It's totally brown. It's not red. Yeah, we just went from a 600. It had a 600 polish on it. This is the medium soft. I'm going to wipe this thing off after I get it wet real quick, and it looks better than a 12. Definitely looks better than a 12. Let me put this away. Ugh. A little bit better than a hazy 1200 polish is what that did to it. I mean, it's fast, man. That stuff is aggressive. It works great. I could go ahead and polish it up the rest of the way in a matter of like 5 minutes and get all of those crevices. Yet, I really don't want to waste the dye shine since I know I'm going to end up carving this back end again. But that little bit of blue that's showing through, that's all right and everything, but I really need this. I really need to get rid of what looks a bit like red to me, but it really looks more like brown, and get to that green that's underneath, get it showing all out in the whole center. That's definitely going to be the next time I touch this one. I'm not going to do that one tonight. But I feel way better. I'm way more excited about the way the stone's going to end up. I know I could just go ahead and peel off more of this outside and go with whatever I have down in there if I want to. Totally a possibility. There was a layer of purple and a little layer of blue, yet they are so thin that they're hard to capture. That's the way it goes with fire agate sometimes. Sometimes you have sort of like ghost colors, and sometimes you have really thick bars of color. And that green on the outside is so good. If I just get that center to pop like that, I'll be happy. Well, I'm on the fence about just peeling the whole thing off. Show you some other stuff I worked on that I haven't quite gotten to shine up. Here's something I could have shined up. Little easy one I did today. Lots of green, a little crackle orange and red on it. Tiny little ring stone. Another tiny little ring stone. If you're one of the people that bought one of my $100 practice boxes, you got a couple of pieces like this in it. A couple of small pieces that got color already ready. I use cerium too, Ryan. I use cerium as the final polish. I go through the deshine, and then after I get down to the spot where I think it's time for the final polish, I do cerium as the last because it's like a optical 100,000 or something like that. Got another little one I'm working on right here. I expected to have most of these really close to finish today, and then I got obsessed with that one piece. This one's going to be a monster. It's like good enough to be a neck piece. Could be a fatty daddy ring. Give me 1 second and I'll turn you guys around. Wipe myself down real quick. Shit, I never put my hat on. Damn it. I totally meant to put my hat on and I didn't do that. Oh. That helps too. Ugh. I have a whole pile of laundry to do tomorrow. Since I didn't put my hat on, I gotta make sure I get any of that dust that'll be in my forehead and hair off. This has become my after carving ritual every time now. I wear a waterproof windbreaker that I can wipe all the dust off. I use my old pair of glasses and then slide on my new pair. That mask is a medium, but I think my face might be a large or something because it always feels like it's crushing my nose. Oh, my nose itches. I gotta blow my nose. 1 second. If you guys can even hear me. I'm falling. Not even sure how much of that you guys could hear because I was nowhere near my microphone, and this is a directional microphone. It picks up what's directly in front of it really well, and then after that it tends to block out other stuff around it. It's made for like talking at weddings when you have speakers around and stuff, which I need to wipe this thing off too. What did I do with that towel? There it is. Which it's a fantastic microphone, man. I tell you what, for being a wireless mic, this is the best microphone I've ever used. It should be though, because when I bought it to do DJ stuff for like parties and weddings and stuff, which I never did, I paid $600 for this damn microphone. Yet I personally believe it was worth every penny. It's an awesome mic. Hello, Anita. Okay, so it's just bypassed 1,200 and 3,000. Still with carving the harder stuff, that's a win in my books. Novas, I meant to say. I'm not sure what you mean by bypassing. Oh, that you bypass those levels? I myself, I don't. I'm totally into the steps with the DeShine. There's stuff I'm skipping in between, that's for sure. With the polish I got on this stuff, though, it's not necessarily needed. And if you went through all the steps I have in here, you're going to spend $600 on just the DeShine polish. Whereas if you just go with what I think is around a 1,200 equivalent and around a 5,000
equivalent, and then it's probably like a 20,000 to 40,000, somewhere in between there. I mean, it gets a great shine, the super fine. They're aggressive enough that you really don't need those other steps in between. Like, I firmly believe that polish I got on that stone that I posted up in my store, it's fantastic. And it was only using, see if I can get a light up here. That's the other thing I meant to clean off that I didn't, my lights. Let's see. And after I used a 600 burr on this, I used the medium soft. Let's see, trying to get there. Now I'm looking at the camera the proper direction I can see it. I used the medium soft, and then I went from medium soft to fine, and then I went from fine to fine, super fine soft. And it's a fantastic polish. I did a cerium oxide after that too, though. But compared to the DeShine, the cerium is cheap, yet it's a real diamond powder. It's not a carbon. I mean, you can tell by how fast it works, how aggressive it is. I mean, I love this stone. It's pretty. It's up for sale in the store. I put it up for more than what I originally said I was going to, and a little bit less than what the suggestion by the group was. But it does have true reds in it, which I didn't even think to look at that while I was up there. I'm going to zoom you guys in again real quick so I can see it. See if it looks like it's red now or orange. Those dots are definitely red now. Yeah, it has to do with that I have you guys looking through plexiglass. So you're looking through plexiglass down into my carving station, because all of those red dots, when I was carving it yesterday, they looked orange. Like, no question, they looked orange. Yeah, there's orange on the bigger green section, but those dots, they're all red. No question, they're red. Beautiful stone, great polish, love to shine. Whoops. As long as whatever you're working on is not heat sensitive, stuff's amazing. So like I said, though, before you buy, just wait until I do my video, because I'm waiting for one of the higher ups at that company to get back to me. I'm hoping he'll give me a coupon code for their website, and I'll be able to hook you guys up with a little bit of savings. But even if I can't, the stuff is really worth it. It really is. It's 3 grams for like $56. And for the way it works and how fast it works and how little you really need, it goes much farther for me than polishing paste did, where I got like 5 grams of polishing paste for like $60 or $50 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But the polishing paste did not go as far for me. And the big deal for me is that you sort of need an extender that's I don't know what it's made out of, but with polishing paste, diamond polishing paste, you need an extender that, you know, they send with it when you buy the stuff from them. But with DeShine, you only need water. Like, a tiny drop of water goes a long way on this stuff. I mean, I can't say enough good stuff about that product. I absolutely love it. And they have a couple of other items that they've brought out, DeShine Thin and DeShine Flex, and their carving wheels. Like, they have just, their products are just really top notch, but they're supposed to be top notch because they're expecting dentists to use them, and people that are doing dentistry work on making like dentures and stuff like that by hand. Like, that's who the product was originally meant for. Now I'll look at some of your guys' comments. And Landon Crombout, wouldn't a face shield be better than a mask? And that is a no, but a face shield would work good in conjunction with a mask. Now, the thing what a face shield doesn't do is a face shield doesn't totally protect you from the stuff that gets popped up into the air around you that you can't even see it. It's like floating particles. And when you're working with that diamond paste, and when you get down to carving with like a 600, even when it's wet, sometimes you still put dust up in the air. And especially when you're using like an 80 grit burr and you're going through like matrix and stuff, you're definitely putting dust up into the air. And that dust that you breathe it in, it will damage your lungs. It will mess you up over a period of time, and sometimes not even over a very long period of time. It's something that's going to happen if you don't take the proper precautions. So now a mask that has a face shield built in, I've actually ordered one of those. I found one on Amazon that was $40. I know it's coming from China, so hopefully it's not coming with the coronavirus, but I read somewhere that they're checking mail now out of China for the coronavirus, that they figured out how to check mail packages and see if it's carrying the stuff. But usually, like, the cheapest mask with the cheapest face shield mask I've found from 3M is like $130 or $140. And this one I just happened to see in Amazon. Of course, they probably suggested it to me. It's a list of stuff. It was $40, and I went to look at the reviews, and I went to look at the stars, and Amazon said, be the first to review it, be the first to make a video. And so I was like, hey, I should do that shit, because it's only $40. So I should, since nobody else has checked this product out, I should get this product and check it out. And with this whole Wuhan coronavirus crap going on, I'd like better protection than just the mask I have. You know, I have some new filters on their way, but this filter still works great, because I was using it in a room the other day where there was incense being burnt, and the whole house smelled like mold, and there was freaking cockroaches running out from furniture when we're carrying it out of the place, and I couldn't smell nothing, man. It smelled like awesome to me. Hello, D. Hello again. Ryan knew a guy that made the teeth for zoo animals as well as people, tigers and elephants. Man, they need to quit feeding those damn tigers and elephants so much sugar. Like, why would they need to make animal teeth? I've never even heard of that before. I'm sure it's true. I don't doubt what you're saying one bit. Yet at the same time, it seems sort of funny. Yeah, Ryan, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a mask that uses it has a bayonet. When you go to buy a mask like this, or you go to buy a face shield, you always want to focus on the ones that have the bayonet connection, because they connect really easily. And the bayonet is this right here. It's that it's sticking out, and that it has those notches on it, because it just plugs on real easily, and it turns, and there it's on. Whereas when you get the cheaper masks, which these assholes call them disposable, which nothing like this should be disposable. It should all be reusable. Let me show you. When you get these cheaper masks, they have holes in them like that, and then the filter itself pops into that, and then it clips on so damn hard that it's almost impossible to get back off without breaking it, which is what I did on all of these, trying to take them off. All of these ones trying to take them apart, I messed every one of them up. Like, it was ridiculous. These parts are still good, but even if the filters are still good, I had to break the pins on the filters themselves to get them off the masks. So I would always say you want to buy the ones that say bayonet on them, because they're easy on, easy off. What else we got here? Jason Meady, how you doing, brother? The filters for the mask are actually going up right now. So like I said, if you're planning on protecting yourself from the whole Wuhan virus with this mask, the way I'm planning on it, you want to purchase right now, because there's going to be a run on these things, because those paper masks these assholes use, they obviously don't work, because look at how many doctors in China are dying right now, and they wore those kinds of masks. They have these people are talking about they're running around in hazmat suits, and they're not really hazmat suits because their faces are only covered with a paper dust mask. That does not count as a hazmat suit. Like, they may have the paper plastic suit on their body, but it's not their body that's catching the damn virus. It's their nose and their mouth and possibly their eyes. Like, generally the nose and the mouth, though. I mean, if you're not covered up with something that's actually filtering the air out, then you could potentially have a problem. And I don't think a dust mask is good enough. I know this. I have never been so worried about a disaster that's actually been going on in my whole life. I've never been worried like this. This freaking thing has me worried. The moment they talked about the incubation period being 2 weeks, and you can get people sick, you can contaminate other people and have no symptoms, that's where I was like, oh shit, it's a movie, it's the end of the world, the sky's falling. Like, I was freaking the fuck out. I still am, to tell you the truth. We had a scare today where I got contacted by my wife, and she's like, the masks aren't here yet that I ordered for the kids. And they shut the hospital down because they think somebody came in with the virus. And that dude came in and he didn't actually have the full-blown virus. He just had the flu, but his symptoms look like it enough that the doctors at the emergency room shut down the hospital, and they contacted the CDC. And then right after I found that out, we're out there feeding the homeless today, which went really well. We're out there feeding the homeless today, and one of the guys that shows up to volunteer at that food pantry we're at, he's a pilot, and he flies regularly to London, and he's talking about how they set him up to fly to Japan. And he told me, well, there's already a confirmed case in Panama City, which Panama City is only 50 miles from me. And he says there's also a case in Pensacola, and that's like 60 miles the other direction. So there's one on each side, next major towns on each side of me, and of this town I'm in. And then I end up finding out through the news that one of the guys that's in Panama City, he's a pilot. And I'm telling you, did any of you guys watch the movie 12 Monkeys? Like, it's always the airports. Like, it's the airports that spread it real bad every time in every single movie. Ryan's right. Keep an eye on the bayonet washers, though. You have to pay attention to the washers when you put it back in, which I'm gonna have to check my mask and make sure that washer's seated right. They're little foam pieces that make the seal perfect. Because if the seal's not perfect, if you don't hear it breathing when you're exhaling like Darth Vader, pop, then it's not working right. Like, if you can breathe real easily without there being some sort of pulling sensation where you're having to pull the air in, then something's wrong. Oh, Cal Sidney Clapper. The thing about Ebola was, though, is that it couldn't be transferred until people already had symptoms. Like, so, if anybody has half a brain and they care about other humans and they have symptoms, they wouldn't go where other people are at. This one, they're talking about. Here's my thing: is that they say it's not even as deadly as the flu, yet they keep talking about how many people are dying, and the number keeps going up, and dramatically the number of sick keeps going up. Yet I have yet to have them give an interview with somebody that survived this thing. I haven't seen one report of like 50 people like being like, man, it was hardcore. You know, we had like 10 bad days and I thought I was going to die, but I feel great now. Like, I haven't heard anything like that at all. So, I'm definitely still really worried. And although they say it's not as deadly as the flu, I think that that's a numbers thing, and that this thing spreads so dramatically. I think it's going to be more deadly than the flu by the end of the year. I really do. I hope it's not. I hope that they come up with a miracle cure, a miracle vaccine that makes everything okay, just like real fast and in a hurry. Yet I'm not convinced that's going to happen. And there's some intelligent people around me that are just convinced that this this is a Chinese government conspiracy because it solves all the Chinese government's problems. Doesn't solve all their problems, but solves a lot of problems they had with their people. Their people are not complaining about shit anymore except for trying not to die. Jason Meady says the Chinese government won't allow some people to leave their homes to get good shit. It's crazy how they decide the country's population that easy. I think he means how they decide to control the country's population that easy. Dude, America needs to watch out for China. China is the existential threat to the United States, besides the United States being an existential threat to itself. The reality is that China has been loaning money to smaller countries, getting ports at those countries, pulling in calling in their debts, and then when the countries can't pay the debts, they have made those countries communist. And China's messed up with the way they treat their people. Like, China is the end of freedom. If China ends up ruling the world, like, it's done, man. Like, the facial recognition and the way that they're like, it's like an episode of Black Mirror over there. They have facial recognition on everything, and then they have a grading system for like what kind of person you are, but it's not based off of if you like go around screwing people over, or that if you're like committing crimes, although that's in it too. It's literally like if you cross the street when it was red, even though there's no cars on the street. Like, did you and your neighbor get into an argument? Did you call him an asshole? Then that goes against your social standing. And like, there was a report of a guy who, I don't remember what he did, like didn't pay a bill, or he did something to where his social standing dropped enough and they wouldn't let him travel anywhere. He wasn't allowed to get on planes. He wasn't allowed to get in the car. He wasn't allowed to get on trains or planes or leave his hometown unless he like walked or rode a bike or had a taxi take him. Like, his social points went down so low that they wouldn't let him travel anywhere. And fuck, screw that. Like, no, this is why these people in Hong Kong were rioting the way they were. Like, they know the way it's going because of how bad it already is. Mainland China has a lot of messed up stuff, and we have some YouTubers over there who want to act like, oh, it's all awesome. And dude, we have to keep freedoms. Like, we have to keep certain freedoms as you're born with it because you're a human being and you're not a fucking dog. Like, we have to be willing to fight for that stuff. Like, because it's insane what they're doing right now. And what's even worse is that I saw a report where it was a news report, and they were out there checking out the social, or not the social, they were checking out the facial recognition that China had going on. And the guy that made this loves the movie Terminator, and he named the shit Skynet. He named this computer Skynet that has AI learning and rates people and lets people know like where the bad people are and stuff like that. Like, dude, this is not how art is supposed to imitate life. It's not supposed to be like, hey, I'm going to create an AI and it's going to grade people, and I'm going to name it after the thing in the movie that tries to kill all the people so the computers and the machines can run the world. Like, this is crazy. China got some crazy people, yo. Don Quarenstom, apparently you missed the over 2.5 hours of me carving gemstones. Now we're just having a conversation, buddy. If you don't like it, you can leave, man. You don't have to be here. But if you do, awesome, stick around. I'm not going to be here much longer, but we're just having a conversation about some stuff that's going on in the world. You know, like it or leave, homie. Ouch, that's sort of rough, Ryan. I mean, when it comes to kids right now, the United States has got no spot to be like pointing fingers at anybody else, because our school system is so messed up here that we have kids that go and try to shoot up other kids. And I mean, it's just absolutely horrifying. But a big problem in the United States is that our school systems are very much set up like our prisons. And I mean, hell, there was a big old news report about a cop putting a 6-year-old in handcuffs and taking them to jail because she her to jail because she was trying to hit some teachers. Whereas in my day, a teacher would grab you and hold you down until you stop throwing a fit. But the kid is 6 years old. Like, it's just insane, some of the stuff we have going on in our schools here. London Crombout. Bad American politics built China. It definitely gave it a hand up. It definitely took the industrial complex we had here and gave China and India big parts of it. That absolutely happened with NAFTA. That's 100% true. Like, there's no discounting that is some historical fact of the way it happened. I'm gonna get my water out so I don't forget to dump it, because I got a big old bucket here of it I need to get rid of. Oh, nice. Spilled about 10 cups of it on the ground. I'm gonna grab a towel real quick and dry that up. I have a bunch of towels I need to take down to the laundry tomorrow too. Ever since wiping myself off and wiping my station down so much every time I'm carving, man, I do a lot more shop towel laundry than I used to. Yes, we do, Margaret. We absolutely do have that. Our schools and our bullying situations have a little bit to do with those kids that are committing suicide. Yet I think a lot of that stuff also has to do with parents. We have a lot of parents in this country that don't parent their children. Yeah, Landon Combrot with the statement, they are teaching socialism to kids. That's a loaded statement. The way that we've seen socialism done by greedy people that are not really socialists in certain countries has been done wrong. I don't absolutely believe in socialism, but I do believe in socialistic policies. The police are a socialistic society, or a socialistic policy. The military we use, that's socialism. We all spend our money so we can have our military go out and inflict war and pain on other people. I definitely believe that some of our money that goes towards the military budget should be taken out of there, that we shouldn't be giving so much money to try and get our young people that don't have any avenue or want to go to college but can't afford it to go and risk their lives for it. I would much rather that money be going towards healthcare, or at least portions of it. We still need a military. Portions of it, I'd rather go towards healthcare, especially for the elderly and the homeless and the sick, like the people that can't afford it. And also, I definitely believe that the college option should be there. Now, I'm not talking about like every college should be free. That's just ridiculous. But there should be a public option for people that get out of high school, have the proper grades, want to go to college. I don't think that they should go and have to risk their life for 4 years in order to get a college education. Nothing's free. We're all paying for stuff every time you work, and you end up having taxes taken out. Yet the way our money keeps being spent, and the way they take services that help and educate, and then they keep boasting services that go out and cause war in other places, this is just wrong. I mean, if you look at since the 80s until now, there has been so many programs in school that have been taken out because we can't afford it. Yet look at what we do with the military budget. I mean, kids, they humiliate kids over dirt cheap ass lunches at school. Get There's no band, there's no football. It costs like $1,000 to play football or hockey now at a school. When I mean, this is freaking crazy. It's insane. These are programs we should have because our children obviously need better than what they've been getting. Just look at what happens with most of them and look at how most people feel about the school that they go to. Our schools shouldn't look like prisons, and almost all of our schools in this country look like prisons. Our schools should look like nice college campuses. They should have trees, and it should be a welcoming place, and it should be a safe place where it feels good to go to. It should be like a dog park is for a dog. Have you ever seen a dog go to a dog park? Have you ever seen a dog the first time they go to the dog park? Have you ever seen a dog when they see the dog park when they're driving by? That's how our kids should feel about their schools. Like Jason Meady said, social programs like food stamps and such, that stuff is needed. Like, later, Cal Sidney Clapper. I'm almost done too, man. Jason Meady says socialism is what brings progression of society. Yes and no. I am not full board with 100% socialism. I do not believe that every business should be owned by the government and that 90% of what you make should be given to the government. Like I'm not that kind of person, yet I understand that there are ways we should be spending our money in a social forum, that we are already spending our money in a social forum, but it's not actually benefiting anybody that we know generally. The money that our taxes is taken for isn't even spent on our damn roads anymore. Like our roads and our infrastructure is falling apart all over the place, yet we can still spend money on going and bombing other places. Freaking insane. Ryan says, "Look at Australia. Socialism has its flaws. Is Australia socialist? I thought Australia was capitalist too in general. I mean, the reality is that anybody at the top of any regime or government, if there are the loopholes in the ability there, then they steal. I mean, it doesn't matter what country you look at. You can find some flagrant ass thefts. And the difference between America and other places, and instead of them just stealing it and sticking it in their bank accounts like they do in other places, they steal it by making bullshit government contracts and then paying their buddies to go and do the contracts. It's just crazy. Like that's how they steal money in this country. Yeah, Jason, you're right. I'm about to shut it down in a second. Ryan says gun control and 200% debt average. I think that debt average in Australia, which you're talking about, is people owe 200% of what they make. Yeah, I can sort of understand that. That's pretty much America too on the debt average. Now, the gun control thing. I mean, I doubt you guys, if your gun control is that rampant, I doubt you guys are having the kinds of shootings we're having everywhere here. I'm not a big proponent for absolute gun control, though. I definitely think that our problem is not gun control, it's mental health. We have a mental health problem in this country, which once again leads directly to our schools, our school to prison pipeline, and directly leads to we should have hospitals for these people. We should have free mental care. People should have somebody to talk to, you know? Very true. On the end note, Landon says there are 22 trillion reasons why our government can't give us anything. Our great grandchildren will be paying the debt, and we're already there. Like we're already there. I'm not sure if our great grandchildren will be paying the debt, but I know this: the president we got right now was talking about how he's going to make that debt go away, and he spent a lot of money on golf, yo. Anyways, I love y'all for watching. Thanks for talking with me for a little while, and get yourself a P100 mask and avoid that coronavirus. Nobody gets sick. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll see you soon. Peace.